Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second shelf and to a discussion video about allyship. As probably most of you watching this video, I have been preoccupied by the events in the US. I'm not going to comment on that. I don't live there. I don't know the politics there well enough to comment on that. But of course, what happened in the US now happens also globally and is a global issue. Racism is a global issue. And I guess, like most of you, I've asked myself, what does that mean for me and what should I do? Um, so I decided to make a video. That's often what I do when I have to discuss something that I feel is important, whether it's books or other issues. And I came across a couple of articles that I will link down below, and also a video by Cass from What Cass Reads about the idea of allyship and what that really means. Because I felt, like I said, that I want to make a video, but that it didn't feel right, to hold up books by Black authors and say to you, that's what you should read because we should promote Black authors. I mean, we should, mainly because they write good books, but somehow that didn't feel that it tackled the core of the issue for me. And when I read these articles that I linked for you, if you're interested, I think I decided, or it became clear for me that the vantage point of everything that I might want to do or might want to discuss with you is the fact that I, as a white person, I am a member of the oppressing group. As simple as that. That doesn't make me a racist, but it gives me responsibility. And I feel the difference between not being a racist and being an anti-racist is an important issue here. And that's where allyship comes in, I feel. And so I was asking myself, in my life, what can I do in order to promote anti-racism and, more importantly, be anti-racist myself? And I feel that this is important to think about because the protests at some point will subside. They will stop. They might go on for weeks or maybe even months, but at some point they will stop. And then the real work goes on. It's not the protests in the end that will really change something, I feel. Because if something like racism is systemic, it's not about changing the law. It's about changing people. And when you talk about changing people, and I am a member of that group, that oppressing group, then I personally feel that change has to start with me. So protesting is, of course, fine to show your support. Signing petitions is, of course, perfect to show your support. But in order to change something systemic, I shouldn't talk about what you have to do, but what I have to do. I have to examine my own life and my own behavior and find ways to incorporate anti-racism in my behavior and in my life. And that's why these articles and this video really helped me. Because I feel that the way of going forward is, like I said, starting with yourself. And I ask myself, am I doing something in my circle of people? Am I calling a family member out when she says something that I consider racist? Am I talking to a colleague who says something or does something that I feel is racist? Or even more difficult, would I call out my employer if they do something? And because I'm no longer in a real profession, for me as a writer, that boils down to, for instance, have a look at my publisher's publication list. Do I initiate a conversation about actively looking for non-white authors? I haven't done that so far. I haven't called out a family member, and we all have these family members or friends, you know, certainly family members. I don't think I'm the only one who has this family member, you know, maybe it's a distant uncle or maybe it's closer, and they say stupid stuff. And I just roll my eyes and think, yeah, well, they're never going to change. But I feel in this instance that silence is the wrong way to go forward. I mean, a lot of the, when you watch, I guess you also watched Black booktubers talk about allyship, and a lot of them say being silent is being racist. And first I thought that they meant we all have to talk in our videos about racism. And I don't think that that is what has been meant, because whether or not you talk about it in a video is not really the important thing. I feel the important thing is what you do in your real life and with the people directly around you. And that's when it gets uncomfortable and difficult. That doesn't mean that it's a bad thing, for instance, to talk about books by Black authors. You should read them. I should read them, not because the author is Black, but because it's a good book. The same, I watched Mel's video the other day. I will link that down below also. And she said that she will, whenever she does a wrap-up of her book, she would also promote a Black booktuber, amplify the Black voices in our community. And I think that that's a perfect thing to do, of course. But again, I feel that this is only, as it were, half of the work. I want to do that as well. I very rarely shout out booktubers, but maybe that's a good thing to do in the future. But again, I feel the real work is when you have to do uncomfortable things and ask yourself whether that is something that you would actually be willing to do. Another thing that I wanted to touch upon briefly is that I'm German, even though I have a Dutch passport, but I still consider myself a German. So I think if I go on a broader scope with anti-racist work, I should do that in my own country mainly and not in the US, which again doesn't mean that I can't sign a petition for, you know, the George Floyd murder case, that there should be justice, but the real work is in my own environment, in my own country. And given our history, there's quite some difficulty in Germany to even use the word race, Rasse in German. I have difficulty even saying it because of the Holocaust and anti-Semitism, and the word race is already something negative to even talk about a person regarding the race. But in the context of minorities, Black minorities, and other migrant minorities in Germany, I guess we have to use the word race, even though it feels very, very uncomfortable. There are about 1% of the population of Germany is Black, and they experience racism, of course, on a daily basis. So for me, the broader field of engagement is my own country, the country where I live in. But I guess what I want to do is to start with my direct environment. And that is at least something that I can do, especially after protests might have subsided, and to avoid becoming complacent. Because I think that that's the biggest danger, that now it's sort of an issue. I mean, like it hadn't been an issue before, but now everybody talks about it. And the real danger, of course, is once there will be no more protests, I might get complacent, not think about it. So for me, it's important to think of ways of really incorporating anti-racism in my own life, and not only during a time that everybody talks about it. I don't know yet how much I will be able to do or be successful in doing, because it's something long term. We will not change a systemic problem within weeks or months, and maybe even not in my lifetime. I don't know. But at least it's a start. And because I was thinking about it for such a long time, I thought I share my thoughts with you. I don't know whether you feel this was valuable, but maybe it might even make you think. At least that's what I hope. Anyway, that was my discussion about allyship. I still hope that you are all safe and healthy, because COVID-19 is not going away anytime soon either. I'm looking forward to any comments you might have on this issue, any suggestions you might have on this issue, and I will talk to you all soon in the next one.